Hey boo, welcome back to my channel and to the I'm Okay series. Breathe. Forgive yourself for literally everything, and let's get whole. All right. Let's just jump right into it because she got things to do. She don't want to be spending 45 minutes on a video. She has a bunch of, for those of you who don't know, I am she. She has a bunch of things to implement and drive into her subconscious. Been learning a lot of things that I need to go and apply in my actual life, and that takes time. So we're going to jump right into it. I would say the next few episodes of the podcast are going to be focused on a very sexy topic. Perfectionism. Yes. We're going to focus on perfectionism because nothing stops me more than trying to do it perfectly. And I know that a lot of people have reintroduced the word perfect into their lives. And so we should talk about it. We really should. So we are going to start with the actual definition, the textbook definition of perfectionism. So it says that perfectionism is a personality trait. Lies. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. A personality trait characterized by setting extremely high standards for oneself and striving for flawless. This is a very generous definition of perfectionist. Okay, ChatGPT. Anyway, striving for flawlessness in various aspects of life. Perfectionists often have an intense desire to achieve excellence and can be overly critical of their own performance or achievements. So, that's what a perfectionist is, according to the textbook. Now, when I said, okay, personality trait is too generous of a definition because I personally believe that we are malleable as human beings. And for something to be a personality trait sounds a lot more permanent than a habit, right? So because of that, I personally believe that perfectionism is a habit because we did not come out of the womb trying to be quote unquote perfect, because we're going to also talk about what perfect actually even is. But we didn't come out of the womb perfect. When we were babies, we threw up on ourselves, shat ourselves, peed ourselves, we did all the things, and we knew somebody was going to clean it up. We would scream our heads off, right? We knew somebody was going to clean it up and somebody was going to continue loving on us. Somebody was going to see that baby and be like, wow, that's cute. So even if your direct caretaker didn't, none of the things that I just said that you do as a baby had you feeling like as a baby, because babies do have feelings, they can have personality, but none of these things cause you to believe that somebody would not take care of you. Like, could you imagine a baby just like trying to like strap up and go to work and hustle on the side because they literally don't believe they're going to get fed their ball? Anyway, I'm going too deep into it, but that's why I believe that perfectionism is more of a habit than a personality trait, and it's a learned habit. And the part of the definition that I do agree with is a perfectionist can be overly critical of their own performance or achievements. That's the part that led me to this topic, because being overly, like I said earlier, nothing stops me from doing something more than wanting it to be perfect. And I'll use my album as an example. We were locked down when I recorded it, so I didn't know if it was going to be released. I didn't know if it was going to not be released. I didn't know if I was going to scrap the whole thing when I was done. I didn't know if I was going to love it. I didn't know if I was going to hate it. I just knew that I enjoy making music. And that was pretty much all I could do, all I wanted to do for fun at that time. So I made the album. I actually made a lot more songs in that album, but those were the ones out of the bunch that I felt needed to be outside. Now, I didn't have connection to my regular engineer during that time. I also didn't have connection or the money because I wasn't working during the pandemic, especially the lockdown months. It really was not a lot of work because production was out. So I didn't want to put a bunch of money into mixing and mastering. I wanted to either learn it myself or barter situation. You can go to other YouTube pages to figure out, how musicians and songwriters and producers barter and, deals and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on anything to get it perfect because I wasn't thinking about its release. I wasn't thinking about feedback. I was just like, I want to make music right now. So I made the music. I think within like 2 weeks of me just recording every single day, somebody actually hit me up and was like, hey, I'm really trying to build my catalog. Can I mix your music? Went with that, and we just kept going back and forth, with music, and it was at a rate that I could afford, and it was perfect because I wasn't trying to be perfect, if that makes sense. And the songs that I struggled with the most were the ones that I felt were never finished. But they were also the most liberating because it pushed me to be like, you need to let this go and let it be the song that it is. You're being too hard on yourself. You have heard songs. I know you have heard songs. Listen, call me shady, but this is what I'm saying to myself. I was like, I know you have heard songs where you were like, that's not even mixed properly. And the song is obviously doing extremely well because it reached you. So all that perfection stuff is a habit and it's a mind trap, and it needs to be dealt with internally, and we're going to talk about how do we get it, how to recognize a perfectionist or traits of perfectionism. And I say how to recognize a perfectionist, not so you can go out there and condemn everybody and point the finger and blah, 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 because I've been there, done that. That just makes it worse in you. Okay. Everything is reflected. But if you're a mom, or if you're a parent, or if you're a caretaker, or if you're a mentor, and you really want to nurture this person that is in your care, then you might want to recognize when those patterns are starting, especially if the person is little, like in their developmental years, because that's when you can really see it with super small stuff. So we're going to talk about how to recognize it. We're going to talk about how to dissolve it. We're going to talk about what are the benefits? What are the pros? What are the cons? And, as much as I just dragged perfectionism through the mud, I do believe that every coin has two sides, and there is a part of perfectionism that can benefit you. It's almost like, so I'm a big Marvel nerd, right? So I know all the things. Well, most of all the things. I'm trying to get super caught up so I can really jump in the conversation. You all might see me at MarvelCon. I'm not kidding. I'm really obsessed. But I think about their superpowers a lot because it really interests me, and I'm able to look inside of myself and be like, I wonder if this is a superpower that I just need to learn how to harness instead of get rid of, like the Hulk and his rage, right? There are times where they literally needed him to be just that mad to get the job done. And there are times where it's like, hey, this amount of rage is not necessary. And I think perfectionism is one of those things that can either be you can either control it or let it control you. And that's why we're going to talk about it. Well, we've already started because we talked about what it is. You know what it is. If you find yourself overly critical, setting goals that aren't even yours. And if you want to know more about how you can even get to a point where you are like setting goals for yourself that don't belong to you. For my episode on finding your voice, that should be super helpful. It's so funny because, and I'm going to close out with this. It's really funny to me because in lockdown, me and my sister were just laughing so much about like the typical YouTuber intros and taglines and outros, and we would say them to each other and laugh. And here I am talking about we're going to talk about that in the next episode. Oh, life is funny. Anyway, we're going to talk about perfectionism a little bit more, get more deep into it, figure out if you want to harness it or throw it away completely. That'll be totally up to you. But breathe and forgive yourself for being a perfectionist, because it can benefit you if you let it. I'll talk to you soon. If you like this video and you want to see more videos like this and get more tips like this, like, share, and subscribe. And turn on the bell notification so that you get notified whenever I put out a new video. Also, if you like the song that's in the background, it is called I'm Okay from my latest project, Blackcurrant, which is available on all streaming platforms. I love you. Have a great week. I'm okay where I'm at.